So I'm going to play this guy's video. Pay attention to his hat.
How many of you are disappointed in the big, beautiful bullshit bill? We voted for Trump because he promised us to cut taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime. So they write this bill, it goes through the House, then it goes to the Senate, and the Senate just chops it all up. And they say, oh, yeah, we're going to no tax on tips up to $25,000, but you're going to pay taxes on that all through the year, and you won't get to take that off until the end of the year when you do your taxes. Oh, no tax on overtime, up to $12,500 after that. It's regular. You stick it in you extra for overtime work. And then they said no tax on Social Security. And then they bullshitted around with that too, and they said, well, we're going to give you a $6,000 reduction. Once again, screwing the American people, the American worker, the middle class. They promised the big, beautiful bill to be something great for the American public. Instead, what they do is they raise the debt ceiling. We're going to spend more money, and the middle class is going to be paying for it with our backs because the big, beautiful bullshit bill, because in Washington, D.C., people can't get along. All these damn Democrats that vote no because they are not getting their way, and they're a bunch of crybaby-ass sissies. And then the Republican rhinos that are, doing their fucking bullshit too. And nobody's getting a good deal out of this thing. They promised us something, and the government turned around and screwed us because they just can't get along with Trump. Everybody's a Trump hater. It's just about, and JD, yeah, I know he went in there and he took one for the team and he pushed it over the top and everything, but it still sucks. The big, beautiful bill is a big bunch of beautiful bullshit. That's what happens to the American worker.
Watch this huge MAGA fan realize over time that Donald Trump's big ugly bill actually hurts him and his family. This was him before the bill got signed into law.
I bet y'all don't think Donald Trump's a liar now. No taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security passed the House today with flying colors in effect after December 31st, 2025. And y'all said he wouldn't do it, but he did the shit in 5 months.
But after he actually read the bill and realized that Donald Trump is not only breaking a bunch of his promises, but hurting the American people as well, his tune changed a little bit. Take a look at him now.
You know why we voted for Donald Trump? Because the middle class man finally thought he was going to get ahead in life. You said no taxes on overtime. Big, bold, beautiful letters. We thought, hell yeah, why would we not vote for that? Then you turn around and pass the bill and it's a crock of shit. It's a tax credit for the people that make a certain amount of money. Of course, when you put it in big, bold, beautiful letters, it looks great. We're going to vote for you. And you knew what you were doing. You were baiting people in, saying no taxes on overtime. You didn't give no fucking details. Your details that we read ain't worth a flying fuck.
Yeah, once again, another Trump supporter in the finding out phase of their support for Donald Trump. They thought he was going to make the country better, for some reason supported him, and now they're realizing that, wow, Donald Trump doesn't actually care about any hardworking person out there. He cares about himself and his billionaire buddies. So once again, MAGA, you got played, just like that guy.
Okay, on tips, the president has said, your tips will be 100% yours. Does this tax bill continue the payroll tax on people's tips?
Yes, it does, Mr.
Overtime. The president said your overtime will be tax-free. Does this bill continue the payroll tax on overtime?
It does not exempt overtime from the payroll tax.
The president has said he's going to remove taxes on Social Security. Does this bill remove taxes on Social Security benefits?
The legislation provides an increased exemption amount.
But does it remove taxes on Social Security benefits as promised by the president?
It does not change Social.
The president.
This is everything you need to know about the tax on tips changes coming through this big, beautiful bill. So this is going to happen this year. And in order to qualify, you need to have a valid Social Security number, and you need to make under $150,000 as a single or $300,000 as a married file jointly. In order to receive this, you also need to have your employer go and have an overtime premium box on your W-2. This is something that many employers will have to conform to, so make sure you're doing your due diligence and that your employer is doing this for you. In order to go and get this, you will also need to make sure that you are working overtime. Overtime is considered anything you work above 40 hours per week. Many salaried employees will not qualify for this, and if you are self-employed, you also will not qualify for this as well. All this bill is going to cost everyday Americans roughly about $1,200 per American over the next 10 years. The last thing you need to know about this is you will still have taxes withheld from overtime, specifically Medicaid taxes and Social Security taxes. And also, if you live in certain states, they will also still withhold from your overtime. But on the federal level, you will not be taxed. And certain states have already come forward and said that they're not going to tax you. They're going to, quote unquote, conform to the federal program. So,
hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So remember when Nditi promised that if elected back to office, there would be no taxes on tips and overtime pay? You remember? He said it over and over again, on stage, in interviews, and on social media. He made it sound simple. If you work hard, you should keep all of your extra pay. No taxes, period. MAGA supporters clapped, cheered, and shared it like a gospel. Well, now, that promise has come back around, and not in the way many of his supporters expected. After the one big beautiful bill passed this month, Nditi claimed that he delivered on his pledges. But MAGA folks, they are not buying it. In fact, a lot of them feel like they got played. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Rosemary. Kindly consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we get to the video, let me play a few clips on the same, and I'll be back with my commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of these videos.
so just make sure you're aware of those going into your next paycheck. And let me know if you have any questions in the comment section.
What we just witnessed was cognitive dissonance. That's what we just witnessed, because he kept flipping back and forth. He says the bill is shitty, but then he gets mad at Democrats for voting no. Well, they voted no to a shitty bill. Then he came back and said, yes, the bill is shitty, but these people are Trump haters. Trump is the one that wants to pass the bill. Trump is the one that's going to sign it. And then he turned around, but the bill sucks. It sucks. But then JD came in and took one for the team, praising JD, but then goes back to saying that the bill sucks. Cognitive dissonance at work. But he's getting close. They are starting to understand class war. We have been trying to teach them that forever now. I guess this shit had to happen for them to understand what class war is. They don't give a shit about you. The elites don't give a damn. They just want to stay rich. That's how it's always been. The elites have been screwing poor white folks since the 1600s, since the Bacon Rebellion. They have been distracted by all the bullshit, nonsense, while the elites steal their money. And now they're confused. They're absolutely confused. He doesn't know which way to go. Cognitive dissonance. But he's close. He's getting there. But yeah, they're starting to realize their whiteness ain't gonna stop the reckoning that's coming from the White House. Whiteness doesn't matter in a class war. No privileges there unless you're a rich white person.
Nditi's exact ones were things like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. To most working Americans, that sounds like zero taxes taken out. No federal income tax, no social security tax, no Medicare. Just take your money home, no strings attached. But the reality is different. The bill he signed allows a deduction, not a full tax break. That means you still pay taxes on tips and overtime, but you can write off a portion when you file taxes, up to $12,500 for overtime or $25,000 in tips if you're single. And there are income limits. It's only lasts until 2028, and payroll taxes is still being taken out every week. That's not what folks they thought they were voting for. Now, the reaction online has been pretty strong. On TikTok, Reddit, and even pro-DT Facebook groups, people are saying they feel lied to. You can tell there is a disappointment. These are not left-wing critics or liberal complaining. These are folks who wore MAGA hats, went to rallies, and genuinely believed in DT's vision for the working class. Now they are asking, did he really mean what he said, or was it just politics? A lot of the anger comes from the fine print. Most people don't read tax codes, changes, or long government bills. They go off what the president says on stage. So when the average person hears no tax on overtime, they are thinking they will get a full paycheck with no tax cuts from their extra hours. But now they are realizing they have to file special deductions during tax seasons to get any benefit. It only applies if they make below a certain amount. The savings are temporary and expire in just a few years. And worst of all, if their job changed the overtime rules, they may not even qualify for it. DT's promises felt like a one-size-fits-all gift. The law feels like a coupon with an expiration date and lots of restrictions. What makes this thing even for our MAGA supporters is that many are saying it's happening again. This is not the first time they feel DT made big promises that didn't deliver the way they thought. Remember the healthcare promises? Everyone will have better, cheaper coverage? That never came. The great infrastructure deal, still waiting. And now, this no tax on tips and overtime ends up being a complicated tax deduction that doesn't help anyone. Supporters are frustrated because they feel they believed in someone who talks big but doesn't follow through all the way. Some are even starting to say that DT is doing just enough to say he kept a promise, but not enough to actually make a real difference. And now, let's be clear, there are still plenty of DT supporters who are defending him. They say this is a first step and better than nothing. They argue that it's Congress' fault or that DT is still fighting the sword. But even in those circles, people are confused. Some are asking, why didn't he push harder for a full exemption, or why not make it permanent? Even people defending the bill and admitting that it's not what was originally promised. It's starting to feel like another political move. Get the headlines, grab the soundbite, then walk away when it's time to explain the real details. Let's be honest, workers all over America are struggling right now. Inflation is still high, rent is insane, food prices keep going up. People were hoping for real relief. When DT said no tax on overtime and tips, folks thought they did finally catch a break. Instead, they got a tax rule that feels more like a PR stunt than a solution. And that's where the frustration really boils over. Not just with the DT, but with the whole system. Working class Americans, including MAGA supporters, feel like they are always the ones carrying the load. Meanwhile, billionaires still pay lower effective tax rates. Corporations get loopholes, and workers get another deduction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.